I call my mom Donuts because she loves telling me and my teenage daughter that whenever she wants to lose weight, she just stops eating donuts until her pants fit. I am overweight, but my daughter is not. Also, we don't eat donuts very often. But obviously that is all it takes for her, so it should be that easy for everyone. Anyway, on to the story in the title. A bit of backstory. When my husband and I first got married, we were young and poor with 2 kids, and our parents helped us out on occasion. Eventually, our finances stabilized, and we are now more than comfortable. My mother, on the other hand, got sick with pneumonia something like 10 years ago and lost her job. She was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and her doctor convinced her that she was now disabled and unable to work. Not saying anything against fibro or those who are disabled. She is just not as sick as she wants everyone to believe. For years, she scraped by with disability payments and credit cards. Donuts prides herself on her independence and ability to take care of herself. So, when she started to find herself over her head with debt, she didn't tell any of her 4 adult kids. Instead, she made some sort of arrangement with the credit card companies to stop making payments. All of this eventually came to a head March 2017, when her disability payments stopped. She knew that her only source of income was ending well in advance. So, like a normal, responsible adult, she found a job that would work with her limitations, so she wouldn't have to sell her house and could continue to take care of herself, right? Haha. Instead, she called my brother-in-law, whose kids she was babysitting for free several days a week, and got him all riled up about how she was going to be homeless unless we all stepped in to help her save her house. Brother-in-law then called me to tell me how we had to save her and that my siblings and I should all work together to buy her house for her. Conveniently, neither of my sisters were in a place to provide financial assistance, so all of us buying her house really meant only my brother and I would be putting in money. This conversation happened just before Christmas 2016, before Donut's disability payments ended. My brother and I talked a bit about her financial troubles, but my mom hadn't talked to either of us about this, so we didn't have any of the details. We were hearing about it all through brother-in-law. When Donuts found out that my brother and I had talked, she yelled at me for minimizing her financial troubles to my brother, and when I reminded her that I had no idea what her financial troubles actually were, because she had never actually talked to me about them, and that she had sent brother-in-law to do her dirty work, she responded with, "Brother-in-law is just worried about me because he cares." It had nothing to do with the fact that if she got a job or sold her house, brother-in-law would lose his free babysitting. As a side note, my husband and I just bought some land in another state, with the plan to build a house and move after our youngest is out of high school in less than 3 years. No one in my family knows for sure what our financial situation is, but I'm sure they have made assumptions based on my husband's job and our current house. Also worth noting is we have a son in college whose tuition and rent we pay. When I told my mom that we were buying the land, she was unenthusiastic, which I knew was how she would react. She has always treated my husband's success as somehow offensive to her. My brother and his wife are successful too, but I think she feels like she can claim some part of his success because she raised him, and of course, he's so smart because of her great parenting, blah blah blah. She can't pretend that she had anything to do with how smart and successful my husband is, so she is jealous and resentful of me for it instead. 2 weeks after we told everyone about the land, Donuts sent an email to my siblings and me. I've removed some of the specific details. As my adult children, I'm sure I have hurt your feelings, betrayed your trust, or done things that you have not approved of. Hopefully, you can understand that as a parent and a person, I have done the best I could, and forgive me. I am reluctantly writing to you all for help. I think you know that I am in a tough situation. I have exhausted every possibility to take care of this myself. I have always been independent and able to take care of things. I have done what I could to provide for myself and anyone dependent upon me. I have worked for years to refinance my mortgage, paying off medical bills and debts gotten when I had to quit work. Roadblocks have sprung up at every turn. I just learned this year about 2 liens placed on the mortgage. I knew of the debt, but was not notified that liens had been placed. Filing for bankruptcy is now my only option if I want to keep the equity in the house, or, for that matter, keep my house. I was receiving X dollars from Social Security. In March 2017, the private disability of X dollars ended. Social Security is now paying my Medicare Part B of X dollars. Now I receive X dollars a month from Social Security. Since I lost the private disability, I have been able to stay current with my mortgage because Family Friend has been helping me by sending me $500 each month. I do plan to pay her back. However, that won't happen until I refinance or sell. I know if you can help, at least you will get all your money back when I sell or pass on. Right now, my mortgage balance is a little over $108,000. A realtor came through for a market analysis and said she would list it for $210,000 as is. Any help will be appreciated. I am still waiting for state legal services to file my bankruptcy. Once I get through that, I will need to refinance with the cosigner to lower my mortgage payments so I can support myself. Notice how she says she's done all she can. She still doesn't have a job, and the state we live in has very low unemployment rates. Businesses can't hire enough people. She could have a job if she wanted one. The liens she mentions, as far as I can piece together from what brother-in-law said and what she hasn't said, are about $60,000. Remember the agreement with the credit card companies? She didn't think they would have interest building up, so when she went to pay off the original amount, she was shocked to find her balance was much higher than she thought. So the mortgage that she wants to refinance with our help is really more like $170,000 once the liens are added in. My response to her email was to tell her she should sell her house, pay off her debts, and get a job. I said it a bit nicer than that, but not much. 2 nights later, in the middle of the night, I got nasty texts from one of my sisters telling me how awful I was and how money has changed me, and that she's sorry money makes me happier than the well-being of my family, and I'm disgusting. Wonder where she got those ideas. So now, because I won't give my mom money, I'm apparently a terrible daughter and sister, and they are all giving me the silent treatment, which honestly is pretty nice. But sometimes all the crap my mom has done, not just the latest round, but those are stories to come, makes me really mad at her. She uses the silent treatment to make me come to her and beg her to talk to me. That isn't happening this time, so I'm finally venting here, because you all get it. I can rage at her all I want without playing her stupid games. The best part is, in spite of everything, if she just asked for help with her credit cards at the time, I would have probably helped. But her pride is so important. So she did it, and now I'm the a-hole for not potentially jeopardizing my family's future to bail her out of her years of mistakes. Your same sister who doesn't have the means to help your mother writes that BS to you? I'm sorry she's as big a jerk as your mother. First of all, even if you could readily afford to fork over $170,000, or whatever it turns out to be, it would be insane. It sounds like your father is no longer in the picture. The best thing for her to do is sell that house, pay off debts, and move into an apartment. Or here's an idea. Your B's sister can move your mother into her own house. For real though, unless there are some truly compelling reasons, I'm not sure why she doesn't just want to sell the house and find something she can more easily afford. Amazing how people who aren't asked to pitch in money are so happy to put you down for not pitching in money. Enjoy the quiet. They will be talking to you soon when they want money from you, again. Ha. My sister is a huge drama queen. Ever since we were little, she's always been the bossy one. I've just been more chill, laid back, and just kind of drama-free. Or I try to be. She's younger and acts like the princess. For example, on my birthday once, she walked in and said, "Everybody wish me a happy birthday." So my sister, Alyssa, is expecting a proposal on New Year's Eve. She mentioned this to me a few weeks ago. We chatted about it a little, and she said that her boyfriend, Chris, asked for my parents' blessing a while back. So my parents are aware that engagement is coming. She mentioned the engagement the other day when she and my mom and I were all together getting our nails done. She led my parents on all Christmas, showed my mom dresses. She talked to my aunt on the phone, and my aunt pointedly asked if she was engaged after she passed the phone on. All this to say, she's also been bugging Chris about getting engaged for a long time. She thought he was going to propose in April. She's been planning and anticipating this pretty much since then. Well, I mentioned something about her getting married offhand to my mom, and now she's angry texting me, because I apparently was told this in confidence. She's saying how I ruined this for her, and how now no one will be surprised, how she's not happy with me, and how now she can't have that special moment because of me, and no one will be excited. I truly didn't mean to ruin anything at all. I didn't realize it was in confidence. Not like it was a secret anyway, but I wouldn't have said anything if I realized I was supposed to keep it private. How do I fix this? I sent her one response apologizing and saying that I didn't realize it was in confidence and I didn't bring it up to Chris, just my mom. She is furious. I don't want to ruin anything for her, but it seems like she's already seeing red, so I'd like to know how to fix it. My guess is that a proposal is not actually on his radar, and she lied about him asking for your parents' blessing. Hence, her being so upset that you mentioned it to your mother, who supposedly already knew. So I'm just going to put this here to give an example of some of the crazy things my mother-in-law does. This was a recent trip to see them. Last time I went, I cried myself to sleep 5 out of 7 nights. But now I'm a bit older and wiser and learned to not really care but enjoy the insanity as they make great stories to tell. So they just moved houses after living pretty isolated in the mountains. They are now down on the coast. They have 4 cats. DF is an only child and we're over for his birthday. The thing with mother-in-law is that she is super nice to your face, but so passive-aggressive and snide. She lulls you into a false sense of security that you can open up. This is false. She's like a famous flytrap. We arrive and DF, 33-34, and I, 29, are shown to our rooms, 2 single beds, with the bedside table between us. We are not allowed to sleep in a double bed. Within the drawers is sweets and tampons and toothbrushes, like kids, teens at a sleepover. However, it's a nice gesture, so I need to check myself. Next morning, showers. I have a shower and come back to the room. DF has a word with me. His mother came in and wasn't happy with me that my bed wasn't made before going for a shower. Weird as it is, I take note. The next morning, I go for my shower and make the bed. Basically, just the duvet I smoothed out and made up. I come back from the shower and my DF looks embarrassed. Mother-in-law came in to check I had made the bed, but lifted the duvet to see if I had made the sheets, and expressed her dissatisfaction to DF. Like, I'm in the shower. It's not like I left it for the day like that. They have dogs living around them. She's already not a fan of dogs, but makes exceptions based on the dog. Anyway, she moved into the new house and is already fighting with the neighbors, not 2 months into living there. Their dogs bark. All dogs bark, but for some reason she has taken a disliking to this one, and in particular, its owners. She's threatened to call the police on this dog and get it put to sleep because it's a dangerous breed, and she's pretty sure he hasn't gotten a license for it. The dog itself has never done anything to attack or harm her or her cats. Whilst I'm there, she keeps ranting about the dog, taking videos from her balcony, speaking derogatory remarks about its owner, then asks me how she can poison it. I work in veterinary. This routine happens literally every day we were there. She and father-in-law also calls his wife Fat A, and mother-in-law is larger than the neighbor. We were out at the beach relaxing, and mother-in-law came over to chat with us on the sunbeds, complaining of all the British people in their 40s and 50s moving over to live. They are British themselves. I asked her how old she was when she came over, trying to get her to realize what she was saying. She was 52 when she moved. She smiles and says she was retired, so it's different. I also do want to note that, to be fair to the woman, she has learned the language and speaks it almost fluently to merge in. Anyway, on the way home she complains about her uncle, who had recently been over buying football shirts for his grandsons. She complains about the price and how he would spend so much on something for his grandkids when they never got any nice clothing or fancy meals, etc. She gets us to try bite and agree, but we felt it's his grandkids, he can buy them whatever he wants. When we don't agree, she gets huffy and sits in silence in the car. The next morning, it's my DF's birthday. Mother-in-law had been showing me the cake all week and showed me it excited. I went for a shower, and DF went downstairs in his pajamas to get a morning cup of coffee. She lit all his candles and made him open all his presents at 10 a.m. when he was half asleep. He asked to wait until I was out of the shower so I could be there to blow out candles and watch him open presents. She refuses and hurries him to blow out the candles, open presents, and return them all up to his room in 10 minutes before I came down. She told him during his asking to wait that she didn't want to because she didn't appreciate the rude comment the day before. Then, when he brings his presents upstairs, we find his present from her was the football shirt and training kit she had been ranting about the day before. I would also like to say that DF has a disability, so couldn't actually use the kit, but could wear the shirt. This is just week 1 in a wonderful world of crazy encounters that I have now accepted to be part of my life. No advice needed, really. Just little rants because sometimes it needs to be done. She's ridiculous, but your significant other is giving her too much power. For example, he could have waited to open presents. He's a grown man, and she's not the boss of him anymore. How